All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're breaking down some absolutely essential guidance that every small business owner in the UK really needs to get their head around. It's called Guidance for Pollution Prevention, or GPP1 for short, and we're using info straight from the experts at CPRO to make it all clear and super actionable. So, to kick things off, let's start with a question that really gets to the heart of why this all matters so much. I know, it sounds a bit over the top, doesn't it? But honestly, for a small business, this is no exaggeration. A single tiny pollution incident, even a completely accidental one, can set off a chain reaction with truly devastating legal and financial consequences. The stakes are just incredibly high.
You see, at the very heart of UK environmental law is one fundamental rule: the polluter pays principle. It's actually really simple. If your business causes pollution, you are legally on the hook for every single thing that comes next. We're talking the cleanup, the regulator's time, any fines, all of it. And it's a responsibility you just can't pass on to someone else.
So, to help you get a handle on all this, we're going to walk through 5 key areas. We'll kick off with the risks, then get into the practical stuff you need to do: checking your site, storing materials the right way, managing your waste, and finally, being prepared for an emergency.
Okay, first up, let's be absolutely clear about why this is so important. This isn't just about being green or ticking a box. We're talking about the legal and financial survival of your business. Not being compliant is a gamble that, frankly, no business can afford to make.
And the consequences, if you get it wrong, they're severe. We're talking massive fines, the real possibility of prison sentences, and getting slapped with an order to stop all work on site. And beyond that initial hit, you've got the long-term damage to your company's reputation and a cleanup bill that could be astronomical, especially if it gets into the groundwater.
Okay, so where on earth do you start? Well, the very first, most fundamental step is to get to know your site, really know it. And that all begins with your drains. Seriously, understanding your drainage is your #1 line of defense against causing a pollution incident. Now, the GPP1 guidance breaks this down into 3 pretty manageable steps. First, you need a map, a complete drainage plan for your property. Second, you have to physically go out and find every single drain and know exactly where each one goes. A simple mistake here, like mixing up a surface water drain for a foul sewer, could literally send a spill straight into a river. And the third step is to understand and then break something called the pollution linkage. So what is this pollution linkage? It's actually a brilliant way to simplify the whole problem. Pollution only happens when a source, like a leaking drum of oil, connects with a receptor, say a river, through a pathway, like a storm drain. Your whole job, your entire prevention strategy, is simply to break that chain at any point. You either secure the source or you block the pathway.
And that brings us perfectly to our next section, securing the source. This is all about the proper, legal, and safe storage of anything on your site that could cause pollution. We're talking fuels, oils, and chemicals, but also stuff you might not even think about, like detergents or even milk.
The rules here are pretty much non-negotiable. Everything has to be in a container that's fit for purpose. Those containers have to be stored well away from any drains. And this is crucial. You must have secondary containment, which is usually called bunding. And finally, you've got to check everything, all the time, for any signs of wear and tear.
And that secondary containment, that's your failsafe. It's your plan B. Just think of things like bunded pallets or specialized kosh cabinets, like the ones you can get from CPRO. They're literally built to catch any leaks or spills from the main container. It's a simple measure, but it's the difference between a small, manageable cleanup and a full-blown environmental disaster.
Right, let's talk about this stuff your business throws away. Every single business produces waste, and because of that, you have what's called a legal duty of care. This means you're responsible for how it's handled, from the second you create it, right up to its final disposal. The best way to think about this is with the waste hierarchy. The aim is always to start at the top. First question, can you reduce the amount of waste you're creating at all? If not, can you reuse it? Then recycle it. And only as a very last resort should you dispose of it. And you know what? Following this doesn't just help the environment, it actually saves your business money.
Now, the really important thing to get here is that not all waste is the same, and your legal duties are different depending on what it is. For your general waste, you need to store it securely so it can't escape, use a registered waste carrier, and keep the records. But for hazardous or special waste, the rules get much stricter. It has to be stored separately, handled by a specialist carrier, and you need to track it with detailed paperwork from start to finish.
So you've got all your prevention measures in place. But look, Even with the best will in the world, accidents can still happen. And that's why the final piece of the puzzle is being ready to respond if something does go wrong. Having a solid plan can massively reduce the damage.
And your incident response plan needs to be a practical, simple document. It has to have all the key emergency contacts. You know, the Environment Agency, SEPA in Scotland, Natural Resources Wales, or the NIEA in Northern Ireland. It needs to have that drainage plan we talked about, a map of where all your hazardous stuff is stored, where to find the spill kits, and critically, super simple, clear instructions for your staff to follow.
Let's be real. A plan on a piece of paper is totally useless if you don't have the right tools on the ground. Having properly stocked spill kits ready to go is absolutely essential. And they need to be the right kind for the materials you're handling, whether that's a general kit or specific ones for chemicals or oil like the ones Serpro provide. A fast response depends on having the right equipment right there.
Now, for businesses that want to take things a step further, the guidance suggests looking into an environmental management system, or EMS. You can think of this as the next level up. It's a formal framework like the international standard ISO 14001 that helps you manage all your duties systematically, track how you're doing, and keep getting better over time.
Ultimately, this quote really sums it all up perfectly. Good environmental practice isn't just some ethical choice, it's a core business strategy. It's about protecting your finances, your reputation, and your future.
So, I'll leave you with one final question to think about. After everything we've just covered, take an honest look at your own operations. Are you confident that you're fully compliant with all these responsibilities, or have you just been lucky so far?